Hey everybody, this is Renae from The Space Between, and you are listening to The Space Between podcast, the show that lets you listen to how the fans feel about the music, the art behind over 30 years of the Dave Matthews Band. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. 2024 brings us into our 33rd year with this band that is making so many people so damn happy. And so each week I bring on fans. And today we have fans. It's either a fan or a fans. Today we have two fans on the show to tell us about their journey with the Dave Matthews Band. So guys, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, tell us who you are, where you guys live, and then we're going to dig into a little bit of your history. So we're going to rewind time and try to remember, like, when is it that you first heard of this Dave Matthews Band? Because we all found it at a different time, most of us, and how we found it was very different. So guys, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being on today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
So I'm Desiree, and I'm from Jonesboro, Tennessee. It's a small town in Northeast Tennessee, and it is actually the storytelling capital of the world.
No way.
We have an international storytelling festival in October every year. So it seems fitting that I'm going to tell my story from Jonesboro.
Yes. Maybe I need to come to the storytelling festival. I have a story to tell.
Absolutely.
It's the story of the fans, but it's still a beautiful story.
Yeah. And everybody would love to hear it.
I mean, I don't know if everybody would love to hear. Only 35,000 people in general want to hear this story. So that's a very small amount of people. So tell me, who else do we have on here? We have your husband. Hi, John.
Hey, I'm John. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia, and I moved down here in 98 and met that little lady there, and kind of history from there, I guess.
Yeah, I want to talk about how you guys met, but tell us when, so rewind your brain, tell us when you first remember ever hearing of this band.
John, you go first.
Okay, I'll start. I went to school in Southwest Virginia, so I was away from Richmond until about 92. And I got home, and I remember I had this little sampler tape, it has different bands, different songs.
Yeah.
And it had Jimmy Thing on it. And I didn't remember ever hearing the band, so I played that over and over and over and over. And then I realized my roommate had Remember Two Things.
Oh, yeah.
So on CD, so I started listening to that, and it went all the heck from there. So that was about it.
Well, I would imagine growing up in Virginia, too, it was just a little more, I mean, it seems like in my head it would have been around a little bit more, since that's kind of where the band started, had its roots, and so people just kind of knew about it.
Yeah. So that was, I guess, around late 93, 94, and then I went to my first show December 30th, 95 in Hampton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I was at the Crash release date show in Richmond. April 30th, 96.
Oh my goodness. So Jimmy Thing, what was it about it? Do you remember? Like what caught your ears?
I don't know, just the groove and the song itself. I like something that's got a good beat to it. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's just really good. Kind of stuck.
No, it does. And I mean, even to this day, that's a song that just really gets people amped up. Like there's never a bad time to play Jimmy Thing. It is one of those songs that's just really, really fun to listen to. Yeah. So Desiree, where in the world did you meet this band?
So it was about 1997, I guess. What would you say was playing on the radio? I'm from a small town. We don't get, a lot of popular stuff, but they were playing that one a lot. And that's all I knew of the Dave Matthews Band.
Right.
And then in 1998, I met John. Let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
I had purchased a car, a 1978 Cadillac for $400 that year.
Damn.
I was broke. I just needed something that I could drive. As I'm going through it and checking things out, I find an empty, just for context, Crash cassette tape case. No tape in it, just the case. And I was like, I know them, but I don't know any of these songs because what would you say is not on there?
Right.
Found that and part of a roach in the back ashtray. The good kind, not the crawly kind.
At first I was like a bug, and then I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
She's not talking about bugs.
Right. Then not long after, I met John, and John had a bunch of CDs. This Crash CD here, the Under the Table and Dreaming one, the Remember Two Things. So he
Red Rocks
really,
Live.
yeah, he really just played them all. He's like, you got to hear all of it.
All
You
of
know,
it.
you only
Yes.
know what would you say. Like,
You have so much to learn.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was like, wow. So, yeah.
Wow. So where did you guys meet?
Oh, at his work. I was, my mom's ex-husband, my stepdad at the time, was working where he did, and I was sitting on a stool there because I had applied for a job across the street, and just to say hey, and I hear this guy behind me ask me if I wanted some popcorn. They had a free popcorn machine, and it was John, and he ended up being invited by my parents to supper one night a few weeks later, and we had supper at Mom's. We had spaghetti because we were supposed to have liver and onions, but she's afraid he wouldn't like that, so he made spaghetti. She made spaghetti instead.
Safe choice.
And,
yeah.
He stayed a couple hours. We talked, and the rest is history. We've been together since November '98.
I love that. So, how fast after you guys met did you know that each other liked the Dave Matthews Band? John, was that something that you kind of like snuck out really quickly? Like, hey, I really like this band, or like, how did that come up in conversation?
Oh no, it didn't have to. It was on in the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You didn't have to bring it up. It was just there
all the time. Yeah.
I love that. So, you knew one song, and what was like the second song that you really kind of were like, damn, I really have missed a lot when it came to this band? Do you remember what you liked second?
Oh man.
And it could have just been that you liked the sound, like the way they sounded.
I don't know.
They were different.
If I'm looking at the Crash album, which is probably what he played first,
Mm-hmm.
and it begins with So Much to Say, and then Two Step. Oh man, I love Two Step too.
Two-Step
I don't know. They're just all so good. Who knows what grabbed me? There's so many good ones, and we didn't have much. We would just drive around and listen to music. And
yes. I think those are the best dates, though, right? Because I feel like most people that can connect musically, we have something to talk about now, right? Like that's just an automatic, easy conversation. So, like, let's move forward in time. When was the first time you guys actually saw a show together, and what was that like?
Okay, so it was September 2003, and we had a discussion about this because I was like, there is no way I left my baby, my second born, at that young of an age to go to this concert, but I did. So our second child was a preemie, a 26-weeker, was due in June, born in March, and then that September we went to my first Dave show.
Wow.
But John's first show was like in, what do the kids call it nowadays? The 1000s, the 1900s.
Oh God, the 1900s were so old.
Yeah, right.
So John, you went what in 95, babe?
95, 96, and 97.
Let's talk about 95 for a second. So where did you say that you saw them in 95?
It was the 95 was a Hampton Coliseum.
Okay. So can you remember? I mean, God, I couldn't remember anything in 1995, but that was kind of a big deal. You went and saw them. So that was your first time to like visually see what they do on stage, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
what were your thoughts walking away from that? Like, were you prepared for like the jam band aspect of it, of kind of being like, oh, this was a 12-minute song? Like, were you ready? And if not, like, what were your thoughts about it?
No, I hadn't really experienced that. Where our seats in the Hampton Coliseum were kind of up behind the stage. So I could kind of see them, but couldn't really see them. But watching the crowd, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, biggest thing I remember was Bruce Hornsby came out and played.
Wow.
And other than that, I mean, it's kind of a blur.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 95, for whoever is listening, 1995 was, I don't like to say this, but it was a long time ago. It hurts my heart to say that because I do remember, like, I graduated in high school in 1997. And while that does seem like a million years ago, I guess it really was.
Yeah.
I guess we're really getting that old. So let's fast forward. First show together.
First show together was September 2003 in Charlotte.
Yeah. So you guys lived where then?
Jonesboro.
Here in Jonesboro, yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, Charlotte's about a 3.5 hour drive.
Venue. Yeah.
Okay, that was going to be my next question.
Charlotte is the closest venue, 3.5 hours.
Well, that's not terrible though. 3.5 hours.
Raleigh's a little bit further, but we like it better because they have tailgating and Charlotte doesn't.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, we're all out of places that are really drivable now. We've been to venues that are 5-6 hours away, and now we have to fly.
I know, because we've just, you want to see them everywhere. And while that may sound crazy to some people that may be listening to that don't necessarily travel for the band, would you agree in saying that like the band does sound different or has a different energy or something is different about the band in different places, right? Like people will say that about SPAC. People will say that about Alpine, West Palm Beach. Like there are certain venues that are very, very attractive to people because they know that they're in for something different at those venues. And I think even the band has said from time to time, like, we really dig, this venue. And so I think, I think there are certain energies that are unmatched at different places. And so it really does kind of tempt a fan into traveling. But also I think, what an amazing marketing scheme by these guys. I mean, it may not be like it, but it seemed like they really have gotten people to be like, oh, I can't just see them here. I have to go all around because they're going to sound different. And that sounds crazy, but that's true. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was thinking that about Charlottesville.
I kind of wanted to go. Yeah, Charlottesville was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so glad we got to see them at home.
I know, that was my first time. And Charlottesville was such a great thing in general for me. Like, obviously the band was amazing. It felt like a homecoming, but also just being in this city where everyone knew who they were. They knew that they were in the city and they were proud of them, right? Like it was kind of, I can't tell you how many people from just being in different shops and, we're all talking about Dave Matthews. We're all wearing Dave Matthews Band stuff. And this one lady came up to me in a pizza shop and was like, I've never been to a concert before, but I know about them because they have helped out our community so much. So for people to know about the band, not because of their music, but because of what good they're doing in the world, I mean, that just puts a whole different level of like amazingness on this band. I mean, they have been such supporters of so many good causes. They're vocal when it comes to things. They I think on the regular teach love and kindness and inclusion. And so those are some amazing things about the band. So like, what keeps you guys fans? Obviously 1995 was a long time ago. 1997, 98 was a long time ago, whether we want to admit that or not. How in the world are you still a fan of this band?
Well, they just keep putting out great music. I mean, every album's got good songs, and
I agree.
I agree.
I mean, that is it.
Yeah, going to the shows, meeting new people.
Yeah,
they are still relevant. No matter what anyone says, they are still relevant.
I agree. And I mean, I think proof of that, because you guys were here too, for those of you that have not heard of the music that Dave and Tim put on in Mexico this year in 2024, I guess it was the third night he pulled out the little red guitar and played Shotgun. And he did change up some of those words to stay relevant, right? Instead of TV, he used phone, because we are glued to our phones now instead of TV. So I think they do try as much as they can to stay relevant. But I think, obviously, like, they are aware that they've been around for ever, right? Like, what do you think about a band that's been able to hold their relevance for we're going into 33 years now. I mean, like, the longevity of that is really kind of unheard of. If we do like a deep dive of music history, there's not just a whole lot of bands that are going to stick out that have done music,
right,
and not only still performing, because that happens. People go on multiple farewell tours. They're still performing, but for bands that are performing and releasing new music that people are just crazy about, what are your thoughts on that? Like, dude, what is happening?
I think we've all grown up together. And that's another thing that keeps me still interested, is maybe a song didn't connect with me in 2003, but then it did in 2013, because life. And some of those, here we go.
This is good. I mean, Dave Matthews Band is emotional. It is.
Should have warned you.
That's okay. I love it.
No, just some of those connections, to the lyrics and to life. And
hello, everybody. This is Dave Rich from the Eddie Casino Band out in Las Vegas. We're really excited to get this journey going, celebrating our music, our original music. on all platforms. We just released our first single over Labor Day weekend called Eddie Casino. If you're looking for new music, look out for our next single coming out to Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Music. These guys in the band are really excited to get started playing music for you all. If you like Tom Petty, Zach Brown, Jason Mraz, Dave Matthews Band, Rob Thomas, Jimmy Buffett, Pink Floyd, Stapleton, Bare Naked Ladies, Goose, Billy Strings, Sting and the Police, a ton of influences that we bring to the table. Hope you enjoy our music and look forward to seeing you soon live on stage.
Yes, it's funny how those songs will come after you. I've said this before, but there was someone that approached me and was like, hey, if you could eliminate one song from their catalog in order to hear another song, what song would you eliminate? And I said, I thought about that for a minute. I was like, okay, surely I'm going to come up with a good answer for that. And I feel like my answer was good for me. I said, none of them. I would not eliminate a single song because I never know when that song is coming for me. Just like what you just said. It may have been a song that I knew this whole time and never really just connected emotionally with it for whatever reason. But then, you know, whatever day comes along and you're listening to music and you've maybe been somewhere or done something or have something heavy on your heart or on your mind, and that song comes on and those lyrics are able to like sneak in your ears up to your brain and change everything that was going on. And you're like, where did this come from? I've heard this song a million times and I never have heard it the way I just did. And so y'all probably both have connections to the music like that. Are there any songs that have really kind of come out of the dark, if you will, and said, hey, give me a second chance? I mean, what are some older songs? Obviously you've listed some, but what are some songs, even some of the newer songs that are just really on your heart right now? And that can change from day to day. So that's a hard question.
That is a hard question.
Oh, Lord. I don't know the answer.
I know. I don't even know if I could answer that song. That just came out. I was like, what songs are on your heart? What song is on my heart? I don't even know.
I've thought a lot
This
about
week, it's really, hold on, because I was pulling for it in Mexico.
What was it?
It's not new to me, but I have been chasing I'll Back You Up.
Ooh, yeah.
You don't get that very much. And I was like,
That's
please
true.
play it. And he played it in Mexico this past week. So I
was
love
beautiful.
it.
It was
That
beautiful.
became a good song for us when I decided to go to school. And so we didn't get a lot of shows in early on because of college and careers and children. And I'll Back You Up was a song that John's like, I mean, that, and he really did back me up. It was a lot. It was teamwork those years.
That's beautiful.
I want to get emotional on this too. We are recent empty nesters, and I'm trying to use the term open nest because I don't really feel empty, but it's a transition. So of course, oh man, my mind's going blank.
Don't worry about
you and
it.
me,
It'll come
you
back.
and me, the song You and Me, you know, when they say they'll teach us to fly. And that's kind of what we're doing. We've been able to go to more shows in the past few years.
It is such a hard time in life. I'm in I have 4 kids and 2 of them are gone and 2 of them are still here. And it's such a hard season. It's hard, but it's beautiful, right? Like it's a beautiful season of life because you're like, yes, the birds are flying out of the nest. Like they are doing it. They are doing all the things that I've taught them to do for 18 years and they're succeeding and it's beautiful. But at the same time, our mom and dad hearts are like, but what about us? We've been talking to you for 18 years every single day and now you can't call me. What is happening? It's such a hard and beautiful thing. So I can see where that song really ties into that.
So that's how it comes back around to us, that they'll teach us to fly. Like it's time for you now.
Our kids
I'm actually
can still
sitting in my
teach us.
son's old bedroom and it's not complete for me yet, but it's getting there.
Are you redoing his bedroom and turning it into something that is not his anymore?
Fort Knox is what I'm calling it.
The
All those
walls
posters in there.
purple, and I have posters I framed that I haven't got to hang up yet, but it's getting there.
Are you turning it into a Dave cave? Is it Dave posters?
Yes, most of them are.
Yes, it is.
Most of them. I have a poster from every show I've been to except for my first one.
Holy crap.
So Mexico was my 20th show. My third Dave and Tim show, but 20 total.
Uh-huh.
So,
Wow. And you've
I
got
haven't really been to that much when comparatively, like, but I
20
don't
is
feel
a
like I don't feel like I need to go to like 100 and something shows.
Right.
Like I feel so satisfied that we got our first pits in Cincinnati last year. Oh my gosh. And those people that I met at that restaurant where
That was our first meetup, really. We had never been to the meetup.
Those women saw me tear up. I'm like, y'all, I'm not even in the pit yet. And I'm so grateful and so emotional. Anyway, so we got pits. You know, you line up, they give you the number. John got number 7. I was freaking out. So I was like 20 something. So we were on the rail. And I remember just walking down, like they line you up and they walk you down to the stage. And I can kind of remember somebody in that second line waiting to get in and say, that lady's acting like she's crying. No, I was actually, like, I've never had pits. I've never been that close to the band. Right. I really was just overcome and so excited and grateful. I can't believe I'm going to be so close to it. And it was so cool to watch. And their stage was low enough too. And you could just watch like Buddy and Carter and like everybody so close to you doing their whole thing. It was awesome. So I'm satisfied with that. I got Mexico. We got to go to SPAC. Like, so I'm like, I may not have a huge number of shows, but I'm like,
you've done some, did big things in those 20, pretty good, right? Because I would definitely say that there have been people that have gone to 20 and have never gotten pit. And I am not a pit snob. Like, I do not have to be pit, but if given the opportunity, and here's why. You can see, and you kind of, I mean, if you're a visual person, I'm a very visual person. Like, that is just, it's what I like to do, is see people and how they do stuff. And that's exactly what you get in the pit, is being able to see like the switching of the guitars, them talking to each other, them laughing at each other, whatever the conversation is that they're having. I mean, they do a lot of cutting up on stage, but then for me, I really like seeing how it's all working on stage, right? Because it is such a well-oiled machine. They know exactly what they're doing, but there are definitely times where they're just cutting up, right? They're just having a great time. And I think that that's so much fun to watch. And it's very hard to see that when you're, a little further back. So if anyone's listening to this and you've never had the opportunity, I mean, like, you really just need it once. I mean, get it once if you can. The warehouse is tricky. It's tricky to get those. Sometimes you get them and sometimes you don't. But I think no matter where you are at a concert, I mean, there's not really a bad spot. There really is not, except for one venue. And let's talk about SPAC right quick, because I'll go on record. I know I've said it before. If you're going to SPAC and you're in the lawn, good luck seeing the band. It's going to be really tough.
Yeah, we got lucky. Night 2, we were on the lawn, and we had pretty decent seats.
Oh, good.
So we got in there pretty good. But I
had no clue what to expect, because everyone talks about SPAC, and rightfully so. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's a great venue, but it can be tricky, right? Because the lawn, and I don't really know how to describe it, but the lawn is almost kind of behind a building, which is weird. Yeah. It's very weird. And so unless you're very close on the lawn, you can't see the stage because there's walls and screens and a million jillion people. It was a tough venue. But
so many
the
people.
music 2023 was really, really good. So I don't think we could have picked a better year to be there.
Yeah.
It was exceptional.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. And I think just the city in general, what is it? Is it Saratoga Springs? Is that the name of the city where SPAC is? Such a cute little town. Like, it's just like a little quaint, a lot of like old downtown type feel, with horse races that happened to be going on the same weekend as Dave. So it made the city crazy, but I hear that that's pretty common. But it was just such a beautiful place to be. So I think the combination of the way it felt to be there, and then of course the music, but then the people, right? So let's talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. So, like, obviously you talked about just recent, or, y'all found the community. It was your first meetup. So what kind of intrigued you guys? What was the conversation before y'all went to this meetup? Like, what attracted you to go to it?
There wasn't any talk. She said, "Hey, we're going to this meetup."
You didn't get a choice, did you, John? You were like, "Oh, okay, we're going."
She plans, I go.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
I think that's probably true. Like, let's go hang out with people before we go to the show and just see. And also, there were other musicians like Rob Messina, Like I want to see what's going on. I just wanted to know. I like to know things.
Yes, so. I do too. And I think that's really where, if you start getting plugged in to, Facebook groups or, however things work now, I think Facebook group is probably the biggest way to find other fans. Yep. I know that Instagram and TikTok are now growing as far as that, but getting connected with people and then doing these meetups. And if you're listening to this and you're like, what are they talking about? Well, the Dave Matthews Band fans are almost like a club, if you will, like a club, but requires no you don't have to have done anything to be there. You could have been to 0 shows or 1,000. No one cares. The fact that you like the band is all you need to go. And so these Facebook groups that, you meet people online, which is a very common way to meet people these days, just, and also just to kind of make us feel less crazy, right? Like there's other people out there that are digging on this band as much or more than I am. And so then these meetups give us opportunities to put, a face with a name, like in person, and you already know you're going to like them. And then just learning stuff. Like people come into these meetups with so much knowledge of the band. And I'm like you, like I dig knowing every single thing. And I'll be weird about it. Like I want to know, oh, Buddy's a vegetarian. Cool. Check. I want to know that. I don't know why or where that's going to come in handy, but I dig knowing that for some weird reason. But everybody does have those little side notes because they might have been a show in 95 and we're talking about taping and the evolution of the band. And so there's just so much knowledge there. But even for the people that show up to those that know nothing, dude, I almost dig that more and I almost feel sorry for them because everyone wants to tell them something, right? Like, oh, I have so much to tell you, right?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, we're at the last show in Mexico, night 3. And there's a guy standing beside me, and he reaches over and said, "Hey, I keep seeing all these football jerseys that say Buford 41. What is that?" Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, it's Carter Beauford. He's their drummer, and 41's one of their songs." And he just kind of like, I did not know that.
That's awesome that he was in Mexico and he was kind of a new fan. What a place to get to see the band for the first time. I met a couple of people there that, were newbies. What a great place. I think that for me, I've only been this one time. So I've only been once, so I don't have a lot of experience. But it was for me like a workshop. Like, okay, girl, you're about to learn a lot about Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds and what the foundation that this band was built on, right? Like, because dude, it was built with some talent, and that was not that we didn't already know that. But sometimes it's really hard to just zoom in on just Dave or zoom in just on Tim when the whole band is on the stage,
exactly
right? Because
what
there's
I said.
So much
when
going
we were
on.
There. That's exactly what I said. I said, this is really showcasing Dave and Tim instead of, everything all at once. And maybe somebody gets a solo for a little bit, So it was really cool just to get kind of to the bare bones and just let them play. It was awesome.
I didn't think about it that way until I got there, and everything about it felt like a workshop, or a conference, you checked in, you got your itinerary, and you had all of these things you had to be at, and then we're going to learn at night with Dave and Tim, right? And I totally dig that. But for people that were there that this was their first concert and maybe even their first kind of introduction into the Dave Matthews Band world, I think it's a great place to start because at least historically, that's where it started. That's kind of where it started. And so learning the foundation of the band can help you to appreciate these dudes that have been killing it for 33 years. And how the hell are they still doing it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm 44 and I question every day, how am I going to make this day work? These guys are way older and they're still just rock stars. And that, that was something that they proved in Mexico. That moment, I don't remember what night it was. They all kind of blur together now, but there was one moment where they're sitting on stools and Dave turns to Tim turns to Dave, and it was like dueling guitars. And I was like,
yeah, it was really cool.
Happening. This is amazing. They just both, you know, and also you can kind of tell they like each other, right? Which is awesome because that's not necessarily the case in every band. You know, there are countless stories of bands falling apart because the members just couldn't get along. And I understand that. Like, everybody's not for everybody, but these dudes have been doing it. Like, they love each other. And I think that makes it work. It really does.
Of course, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And that's incredible because you spend that much time with these same people.
Right.
You know, it's like a family and you're going to have your issues, but they're still doing it. That's so great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I noticed one thing. So when they were playing the guitars and they would switch, I'd hear some people make a comment like, oh, he's grabbing the whatever. I like to know things, but I don't want to know all the things. I don't need to know what guitar he plays for which songs because I need that surprise and that anticipation. I don't want it to get boring like, oh, he's grabbing that, so he's probably going to play whatever. You know, I just want to be surprised.
No, for sure, for sure. For me, like, I do kind of dig that, but it's honestly just a game with myself. Like, how well do you know this band, girl? Like, if he picks up that guitar, if you can name the song, bing, bing, bing. Like, I get some kind of weird thrill out of it. No one else gets a thrill out of it. And I don't yell it or scream it, but like inside my head, I'm like, bam, girl. You know it. You got it. You did it. 2 points in a game that doesn't even exist.
I love it.
I'm playing games that don't even exist, but that is me. Okay. So let's talk about your children a little bit more. Obviously, I'm going to guess that the Dave Matthews Band was part of their life growing up. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Oh, yes.
So was that something that you played for them? Were they ever, like, did they ever get into it? Let's talk about what that looks like for them.
Yeah, they would say, will you play the Woo song?
The warehouse when they go, woo.
Yeah, the Woo song. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that.
You know, it's not like getting a fussy kid in the car and turning on some Dave and it just melts away. It's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
I highly recommend that for fussy babies, fussy children, toddlers, whatever.
Dang. Was there any particular song that worked the best or was it just anything Dave Matthews?
Pretty much anything. We just throw a CD in and let it roll.
Yeah. So have they ever been to a show?
Our daughter has.
Our daughter has been to one with us. Our son didn't make it that year, so we took one of our friends that we love to go to shows with, Matt and Katie. They've been to a lot of shows with us. But yeah, Cameron got to experience one and it poured rain on us and it was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Was she down for that even when it was raining? Was she like, I want to go? Or
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, most people don't want to stand in the rain, but like some of us are like, I dare you to rain because I know he's going to play some rain songs. And speaking of rain, I'll keep talking about Mexico because it's on the tip of our tongue, right? Like, so night 3 in Mexico, it rained. But it was beautiful. Like perfect. The way it rained and the way it came in sideways at certain times. It's like he had done a deal with God. Like, okay, I'm going to sing whatever. And at that time, I just need for you to like gently let it rain. It was so beautiful.
It was awesome.
Beautiful. I think
the way it hit the lights when it came in sideways.
Yeah. Oh, it was so beautiful. I'm always a fan of rain. Do I want it to rain every show? Definitely not. But that was beautiful. I mean, that was really beautiful. So yeah, a lot of people don't dig the rain, but if you're not super familiar with Dave Matthews Band music, they've got a couple songs that really just kind of beg for rain. And there are certain songs that they've been known to play, like JTR, when it's really pouring down. And some of those times I remember just being so beautiful because people would lose their shit when he would play those songs because typically he just plays them during rain, right? So it's kind of one of those things like, oh, if it's going to rain, I bet he's going to sing this. However, he did not sing JTR that night, but I did hear people yelling for it.
Right. There's always I was surprised he didn't play it. But that's okay. We got a lot of other good stuff.
So many beautiful songs. The only one that I didn't get to hear, and I was just like really ready to experience it, was The Space Between. Like, I really kind of wanted that to happen because everybody was wearing their t-shirts, The Space Between. I was like, come on, Dave, give it to me. Like, I want it. And he didn't. But, we'll get it sometime. And that, honestly, is not even my favorite song, but, it's my podcast name. So I like it. Of course, I like it a lot. So the kids are gone. So does that mean that your schedule is more open for things that mom and dad like? Like, what does the future look like for you guys? Are you going to keep burning Dave Matthews Band until he's done? Or like, does this shift your priorities? Like, what does the future look like for you guys when it comes to the Dave Matthews Band?
What's up, everybody? This is David with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. We're a nationally touring tribute to DMB, playing shows all over the country and beyond. Our goal is to bring you back to the classic sound that you fell in love with in the 90s and the 2000s, featuring a violin, saxophone, and maybe some keyboards sprinkled in as well. You can find out information about all of our tours and shows by visiting thedmtb.com. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram and other socials by searching the Dave Matthews Tribute Band or the DMTB. Hope to see you on the road and enjoy the Space Between podcast.
Yeah, we definitely have more free time to do that. Our first show together was 03, and then we didn't go back till 09. And then after that, 2018. And then, what was it, John? 2019. And then, and then a break.
I don't know what happened.
I think his battery died.
He's coming back.
Yeah, I think his battery died.
His battery on his computer.
I think so.
No big. We'll wait. We'll let him get plugged in, and then he'll log back in. Poor guy. He's been having all kinds of technical issues.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Boom. You know what? We're gonna work this out. We're almost to the end, anyways. So, guys, if you're not watching this on YouTube, just know that we do. I have a YouTube channel. I always like to say we. I don't know why. I don't even know. It's the mom in me. I'm inclusive. I have a YouTube channel called The Space Between Podcast. And so that gives you the ability to see our guests and see all the cool posters that people, and I can see you've got some amazing posters behind you. Are there any that you would like to share with us? Because I know you've got some good ones. If you've got 20 posters, I know you got some really
except for
awesome
that
ones.
first visit to Charlotte. Let me grab the phone and pan around. But what was I saying about the shows? Oh, I think we increased it. We went to 6 last year, 7 last year, which is crazy to have had them so spread apart, and then be able to go to that many.
But you're just in that season of life.
Here and there. So yeah, we're in that season. But this year, so we did Mexico. We have Raleigh planned, and then West Palm Beach, and that's all we have planned this year.
I'll see you at West Palm.
Yay! Because we're doing an Alaskan cruise with our friends, so
we are too.
We have other things. I love it. We have other things in life, right? That we can't do everything.
I mean, Dave is not life. What? No, I totally get you. I have 4 kids, and I am taking off June and July. I've made that commitment to my husband because he was like, "Hey, Renae, I miss you," and I was like, "I love you. I won't go anywhere in June or July." So I am definitely scaling down my year as well, but I will be at West Palm Beach, and we are going on an Alaskan cruise. I'll have to ask you later your info in case we're on the same cruise. That'd be crazy, right?
That would be crazy.
So what do you got poster wise? Let's see.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll go this way.
Yeah. What? I have not seen probably any of these, but I'm not a big poster collector, so I don't.
Yeah.
Ooh, what is that one?
That was Chicago last year.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
it's so big. Like the Dave Matthews Band is so big on it.
So there's just some different ones. That's Virginia Beach there. That was kind of crazy. I just got this one. That was my second concert. That was at Vanderbilt in Nashville. And it was very hard for me to find. And this guy happened to be selling it on eBay. And I was like, oh, yay.
What?
I didn't get a poster back then. 09, it was a little different. Oh, there's that cool Stone poster, that song. But yeah, I don't have them on the wall. Oh, there's one from SPAC last year. With the
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And you got the foil because it's like, or it looks like a foil, is it not? Or does it just change colors?
Yeah, it's a foil. And my thing, it was so hot. My sweaty hands at the very top, I noticed it. Most people probably don't. Peeled some of it off.
Oh, well, so I bet you it's never going to leave your possessions, though, until our kids sell them all to pay for our nursing home.
Absolutely. That's their inheritance. It's an investment. It's ours.
Exactly.
But I am sentimental to it. Like, I I don't get them to make money off of them.
No, yeah.
It's memories. You know?
It is memories, but it is a great way to help, because I think for most part, like, are the rules still the same? Can you get 2 or can you get 1?
Oh, I don't know. I just get 1.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people that I know if you can get 2, you get 2. And for so many people, that's helpful, because with all the collectors that are out there, they don't care if they were there or not. They may just want that poster because of whoever the artist is, right? Because we do know that certain artists' posters are more valuable than others. And so I think it's great that people are, and that's a controversy. I understand as I'm saying that people don't love the fact that some people buy 2 when they don't need them, because the people in the back of the line may not get 1. And I guess I don't have an answer for that, but I think a lot of people are happy with the people that do. You know, there's nothing fair in life, shall I say. There's not going to be enough posters for everyone, period. There's just not. They're limited edition, especially when, you know, they might be a bigger, I'm trying to think of like who the bigger artists are. Oh shit, I've lost my brain. Who's the one with the lady? With the beautiful ladies that are worth so much, and there's only like 2 of them from the Gorge. A Sperry. A Sperry. Now, Sperry's hold their value. They end up being worth more. So people typically buy those and hold on to them, if not sell them later. And we know the selling is happening, whether it's right or wrong. I'm not the police of the Dave Matthews Band. However, if the Dave Matthews Band wants to hire me to do that, call me. I'll do it. Call me. So guys, so 2024 West Palm Beach. Have you ever been before?
No, never been before.
Either. I'm really looking forward
Trying to get some venues we haven't done yet. So
yeah, I think that's the chase now for a lot of us is let's go where we haven't been. And for me, just like let's see this country, right? I have really no reason to go to most of these places. I always joke mostly about like Indiana. Let's go to a concert in a cornfield. Well, you know what? That sounds delightful. I love it. And other people may look at that and like, oh, that's weird. But like, where else in the world?
Cool I listened to your recent episode where she called it the Field of Dreams.
That was like the perfect thing, right? Funny. It was perfect.
Maybe
but
we'll
like
experience it one day.
West Palm Beach, you know, I've always heard that it's magical. I mean, obviously you're on the beach, so we know that that's amazing. But then just a lot of people come in for that venue. It's one of the venues that a lot of people want to be at. So I'm so excited to experience that one. Have you guys ever been to the Gorge before?
We haven't. And we were wanting to do that this year, but we chose the Alaskan cruise instead.
Yes. I mean, yes, for sure. Well, the Gorge is
Cosmo, you know, our little dog.
Hello, Cosmo. Well, you were just so quiet during this whole thing. So he's got a little hoodie on. Does he have a hoodie on?
Yeah, that's his little hoodie.
Oh my God, I love it.
He's a
so
little
much.
grandpa, aren't you, buddy?
Well, I like grandpa dogs. My dogs are older too, and you know, they just got more character, I guess. Well, guys, I can't thank you enough for joining me to tell me kind of like how in the world did you find this band? It's really, truly a different story for each person, and that's been so much fun for me to talk with everyone because everyone's story is different and what we want to get out of it is different and what we have gotten out of it is different and what we want to do is different. And so it's amazing that there are this many experiences behind something that we love so much and we can kind of make it what we want, right? And that's the lovely part of this band is they are still touring so much and giving us so many opportunities to see them that you can kind of do it as you can. And who knows how much longer we have, right? I don't know. 33 years.
It's sad to think of.
It is sad.
But, I mean, they're like retirement age, so
they are.
I don't blame them if they don't want to do it anymore.
Like, because, you know, at 65, 55, 56, 65, all the different age ranges that they are, it's so cool that you're a rock star, but then things start happening that like have never happened before, like grandchildren and things that you have to be older to have. And so you don't ever know how you're going to respond to those things until you're actually in that. Right. And so I'm just so thankful every day that we have them and we have them so much. You know, their tour, people want to say that the 2024 tour was scaled down just a little bit from 23 or previous years. but I still think that they're doing so much. Mexico, Europe, a whole U.S. tour, and who knows, there may be a fall tour as well. And so these guys are killing it. They must be in the best physical and mental health that ever, because it's not an easy gig to live on the road and be in different cities all of the time, and even just the things that they have to do. Right, away from their family, and hopefully, I've heard that the families get to be at shows and stuff from time to time, but I guess they've just never known any different, though, right? Because I know, at least for Dave, I don't, and Stefan, I don't know about the others, but they all got married after they were in the band, so they were kind of like, they knew the lifestyle that they were getting into. But does it make it easier? I'm sure that, I don't know. My dad was a truck driver, and my mom always told me, so he was gone like all of the time. He might come home like once every 3 months. And because my mom had lived that lifestyle, not that this is similar to a rock star life, I'm just painting the picture that he was never at home. When he would come home and spend extended periods of time, she hated it. She was like, it's time for you to leave again. So I'd like to think, I don't know, maybe my parents were just like messed up, but I'd like to think that they've just gotten used to it. And they're like, we see him when he's seen, he's amazing. We love him. If we want to see him extra, we can go out on the road, but that's just what he does for a living. And that's all I've ever known. So we hope that they keep doing it for as long as they're happy doing it. I'm like you, I don't want them to do it if they're miserable. But they also really have such a great fan base. I mean, look at you guys. We know there's at least 35,000 fans of the Dave Matthews Band. And so, like Dave said, day 3 or day whatever of Mexico, he knows he's got a good fan base. He knows it. He said it. Yeah. He's aware. People keep reminding him. And I love that, because we really do just have such an amazing group of people around this band. And that's the hook for me, for all these people, right? Who have common interests, common likes, and they just love this band.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for carving your time out tonight. It's a busy Thursday night, but there's always time to talk about Dave, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So guys, if you are listening to this again on your favorite podcast app, just know that you can watch this on YouTube. And each week I have a different fan or fans on the show to talk about their journey with the Dave Matthews Band. So if you would like to share your experience, your stories with the Space Between podcast, it's as simple as just sending me a message on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of those things that we're all on. And that's another way that you can keep up with who's on next. So stay tuned. Again, look us up on socials. My email is kissonthelips.meyer@gmail.com. That should be fairly easy to remember. So shoot me an email if you're interested in sharing your story. Because guys, this show doesn't work if you don't share your stories. I've told my story. They've told their story now. So we need new people to tell their stories. So again, thank you so much for your support, for your love, and for recognizing that the story of the Dave Matthews Band fans is really an amazing story. So don't be surprised if I show up to the Storyteller Festival.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to, but that'd be amazing.
We got room for you. You can stay the night here.
Hey, that sounds like an amazing gig. That's an amazing gig. So guys, like I say every week, stay tuned, and peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.